Hey there, welcome back to the Producer Joe Show. It's been a lot of fun. Great start to the year. Already had a couple of really great guests. If you missed my last show, it was Neil Conrad. If the name doesn't ring a bell to you, he certainly had an influence in what you watched on television, mostly on ABC back in the day. He was the network censor. He decided what went on the air and what did not. It was really a great interview. If you haven't had a chance, go to my YouTube page and check that out. It was a fun interview and good, really good guy. But anyways, on to today's guest. Today's guest is a friend of mine. He is Mark Gleason. If that name doesn't ring a bell to you, you also certainly most likely, whatever, have seen his work. If you watch the Padres games, you have likely seen the angles come through your television that he is shooting from his camera well. So, without further ado, Mark, welcome to the Producer Joe Show.
Oh, hi, Joe. How's it going? Now, Mr. Conrad isn't in on this at all, is he? Are we?
He is not.
Okay.
No.
I don't think we need him. I think we're okay.
You think we're going to be okay? We're going to be clean?
Right. Yeah.
Because I do have a beep button here in case you start to get out of control here.
No, I'll keep it under control.
So, anyways, hello, Mark, and good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on.
It's going to be a fun time. I'm happy to be here. And there's a studio audience.
The studio audience is very pleased to have you here. Very cool.
I didn't know there'd be a studio audience.
Well, if any of them get out of control, we can just kind of. Oh, that was really quiet. We can. Okay, that's a weak sound. Sorry, they added new sounds to my program here, and I'm just having fun. That was supposed to be a bounce sound, like boot somebody out of here. But anyways,
I got a bounce out of it.
I couldn't hear it. So anyways, I'm just having fun here. This is what I do, just pushing buttons and all that other good stuff. Mark, I really appreciate having you on here, and I'm going to kind of go out of order here for a second because you got me kind of excited when you came on into the green room. Before we started here, you told me that you saw another one of my shows where I featured an album that just means the world to me, and it's the Padres 1984, A Dedicated Season, which is
that looks familiar. That looks very familiar to me.
Just a tremendous listen. And then you told me to flip it over, and I don't think I'm going to do a very good. Okay, I went the wrong way.
On there. That's why it sounded familiar.
So I'm going to ask you to go out of order a little bit here because this album means the world to me. Would you please give me a quick synopsis of how this came about and tell me the backstory on it?
It came after the season, obviously, of 1984, where the Padres went all the way to the World Series. And the year started off rather interestingly because the owner, Ray Kroc, passed away during spring training, or maybe slightly before spring training. He passed away. So the Padres wore RAK for Ray A. Kroc on there's the hat from 1984. They wore the RAK on their shoulder, and they dedicated the season to him, not knowing that they would end up winning the West Division and going all the way to the World Series. They didn't know that. But the whole season was dedicated to them. So it was like he was watching over them, so to speak. And they went to the World Series and played a very good Detroit Tigers team with a fellow alum of Kearney High School. Turned out to be the MVP of that series, by the way, Alan Trammell. I played baseball with him. He was a senior when I was a junior. And my big claim to fame is I pinch ran. He's in the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah, I
pinch ran for a Hall of Famer. How about that?
Well, when are you going to be in the Hall of Fame?
So what happened was we were in a playoff game, and he sprained his ankle, and I was a pitcher, and the coach turned down the bench and says, "Gleason, go pinch run for Trammell." I pinch ran for a Hall of Famer. So anyway,
Wow. That's a great story.
let's go back to what really happened there. So after the season, a couple of people, it was kind of led by Steve Voss. If you remember Steve Voss,
Mm-hmm.
he's got an alternate ego now. What's his name? He's up in Poway. He was the mayor of Poway for a while.
Yep.
He's got an alternate ego as a country singer, but he did several songs that year that were Padre related.
Mm-hmm.
And in conjunction with KFMB Radio, who had the rights to the Padres at the time. So I was working in an audio and video production company, and he did a lot of work with us. It was called Lightning Corporation in Kearney Mesa. And he came up with this idea, and he approached, I don't know exactly who he approached, if he approached KFMB or the Padres or whoever, with this idea for an album called A Dedicated Season. So Steve Voss came, there it is. Steve Voss came to our production company with the idea of producing this album. And he had the general idea of what kind of an idea of what it was going to have. We were going to take some of the songs that he had produced that were Padre themed during the season. Glenn Erath also had some songs that he put out. Do you know Glenn?
Oh yeah.
So Glenn also had some songs. So he came in with this idea of producing a record album that would then be distributed to the Padres fans called A Dedicated Season, featuring the highlights of the season and just kind of so you can relive it. So
Now, if I can just interrupt you for half a second here, for those of you who are watching who may not know the name Glenn Erath, you absolutely have heard him. If you've listened to the radio for any amount of time, he's written and sung a lot of jingles, probably most notably the Corkies, you know.
Corkies, yes, he's the Corkies.
Corkies, yeah. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
But he also did some other Padres songs at that time that were featured on KFMB radio. So the person who was put in charge of the project was Mark Guglielmo. Now, Mark Guglielmo was an Emmy Award-winning video shooter at Channel 39. But the Padres were now going to add a video board to the stadium, and they hired him to be sort of like their video department. So Mark Guglielmo's name is on there also as the producer. So he and I got to work together, and they came in with tapes of these various highlights. Jerry came into the studio, reproduced some things that weren't previous, they didn't have tapes for. And we just put this whole album together with this general concept of it being put together and then given away. That's probably from the session right there. That Jerry and I got to work together. Jerry and
look
I
at that production. Look at that production. Can I just point out the production?
Spot on.
I mean, it's just incredible. You know, I'd like to give a big round of applause to my team.
But, geez.
Sorry.
So we put together. And it featured some interesting highlights. Like if you remember, there was a big brawl that year between the Braves and the Padres.
Oh, and the best!
That was part of it.
The best ever. Yeah,
that was part of it.
I still go on YouTube every now and then and relive that. It was. I mean, if I call it the best baseball ever, I don't feel bad.
It was the best baseball brawl of all time. The fans got involved. It was amazing.
Yes.
A hot and steamy day down at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, and featuring Pascual Perez. God, that guy was crazy.
Yeah.
He was absolutely crazy. So it features that, and then some other radio calls all the way through when they beat the Cubs, came back from the 2-0 deficit, and then won 3 straight games here, because there was only one round of the playoffs back then. You went straight to the LCS. There weren't wild cards and everything else. There were 2 divisions, East and West. They ended up playing each other, and it was the Cubs and the Padres, and of course the Cub Busters were formed at that time. So that was kind of cool. But Steve Voss came in with this concept, and we put it all together, and it was given away. It was a giveaway item at the one of the first series of 1985. It was really, really, it was a fun production to work on for me as a baseball fan. And one interesting thing that happened that year was on New Year's Eve of that year, December 31st, 1984, I went over to play golf at the Coronado Golf Club. And remember, Dick Williams was the manager of the Padres. Yep. So I just went over there as a single, and I walked in the pro shop, and the guy calls me back in. He says, "Are you a Padres fan?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, you're playing with Dick Williams today." So it was very ironic. No, but it was very interesting. He was very nice, and his son played, and his son's name was Mark, I believe, also. And we played golf together. Anytime I kind of bring up baseball, he got very serious. Very serious. So I didn't bring up a lot of baseball. We just played golf together, but it was just very ironic because I don't think we started to produce the album until after the new year. It was probably like January, February. In fact, I still have the master reel-to-reels.
Oh, wow.
Of a dedicated season. I won't go outside.
How did you obtain that?
I just kind of kept them.
Just nice. I like it.
I have master tapes that the album was pressed from, and they are on my shelf. So that was a
lot of familiar names on this album. Andy Strasberg, executive producer, of course. Great, everybody knows Andy. You mentioned Steve Voss as producer.
Yes.
I don't know Ron Seaver. Kevin Boyle. Kevin
Boyle.
Kevin Boyle. I love that guy. We used to bring him Cinnabons down at the live remotes at the stadium before Padres games. Just I don't know why. We would just always bring him Cinnabons.
Interesting thing. Up until last year, he was an usher at the Padres games.
Was he really?
So we kind of. Yeah, so we kind of he looked at me, Mark, yeah, Kevin, oh, hey, how's it going? Because I knew him from the KFMB days because when I was working in radio, I worked at KFMB and B100. So Kevin and I got to know each other there. So yeah, it was kind of interesting. He was the in-studio producer for the Padres broadcast. He was the one who played the commercials and kind of engineered the show back at the studio. So that's his true involvement in the whole process, and he was probably in charge of recording the games as well. So
he's a good man.
Yes.
We go on.
So,
go ahead.
So the interesting thing that connects me with what my current career is Mark Guglielmo. I didn't know Mark Guglielmo before that. And I was working at this company in as the audio production director. I wasn't a cameraman really. I'd run a camera in the studio, but that was about it. I'd never done sports before, ever. And I still wasn't really thinking of it as a career because I didn't quite know how to get into it because I didn't really have any experience at it. So for a couple of years, since now I had Mark Guglielmo there, I kept in touch with him, and I wanted to be a tape editor. So I would record highlights off of TV, and I'd edit them together with music like Abracadabra by Steve Miller Band. Great catches. Abracadabra, I'm going to reach out and grab you, that kind of thing. So I took the tape. I would every once in a while I put like 3 or 4 of them together and I took it down to him. I never really heard from him. So he called me up. The first Super Bowl was in 1988 at then was it then Qualcomm Stadium or was it only Jack Murphy back then?
I don't remember when it switched.
He called me up and said, "Hey, you want to work at the Super Bowl?" And I said, "Oh yeah, cool, yeah." Well, I need somebody to run the audio board. And I said, "Okay, well, I'll come in and run the audio board." So that was my first time actually working with him within the control room there. But as time went on, one day I was sitting in the studio and I thought, I'm looking around. This isn't exactly where I wanted to end up. I wanted to do one of two things. I wanted to either be on the radio, which I had done previously, which led to the audio production job, or I think I want to be a TV cameraman. So I had these great seats for the Padre games right behind home plate, one level up, right underneath the press box. And I brought my camcorder to the game and I shot the game. And then I took it back to the audio and video production company and I edited it together and put some music to it and took it down to him and dropped it off. I didn't know what would happen from it. Literally the next day, he calls me up. Hey, Mark, how's it going? Hey, yeah. Hey, I got your tape here. Have you ever run TV camera before? And I said, nope, never done it. Just, family stuff, camcorder stuff, He says, wow, you really look like you know what you're doing. And I said, oh, okay.
Sure.
That's not the answer I expected, but that's what he said. I said, oh, okay. He says, well, if you're really interested in this, why don't you, I have a buddy who works at Cox Cable, and they do some hockey and some basketball in the wintertime. This was like, September, October. And he says, they do some basketball, some Aztec basketball, and they do some Gulls hockey, and maybe you can go and get some experience with them. And I said, okay. He says, well, yeah, and, hey, give me a call back, I said, okay. So I called the guy at Cox Cable because I was, ever since I was a little kid, I would see the camera guy out there in center field. And I would go and sit in the center field bleachers with my binoculars and pretend like I was the cameraman. And I would watch the games and notice, the camera shots and how things were shot. And but I always thought, I looked down there and said, that'd be a really cool job. But, I didn't know how to get into it. I had no idea. And I went the radio route and then the audio production route. And now I said, I think maybe I can, I'll give this a shot. So I went and I got the job at Cox. I got a job at Cox. I called the guy at Cox Cable and he said, oh yeah, I can use you. So all of a sudden I'm working, you're on the air. And I have one of those too.
I forgot to turn it on.
And so I called the guy and he said, yeah, I can use you. So I got some experience. I worked some hockey games. I worked some basketball games. Now I'm, working in a broadcast environment, running camera. I call up Marco Guglielmo the next spring, 1992. And I said, hey, I did what you told me to do. I went and got some experience. And, well, you did? Really? Well, that's great. Yeah, I got one partial opening for you if you would like to, if you'd like to go for it. I said, yeah, absolutely. He says, well, I got a guy who can't work the day games during the week. Can you, there's like 10 or 12 of them. Can you do those? Absolutely. Okay. Sure. Well, yeah. You know how much they paid? $50 a game. That was it. $50 a game. I still have my first paycheck because it was a paycheck from the Padres.
Absolutely.
That was really cool.
Absolutely.
So 1992 was an all-star year. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. I do.
I got to work at the all-star game also. And they did. So I worked all those games and I started filling in for guys because other guys couldn't make games. And all of a sudden, I'm shooting camera at Padre games. This is pretty cool. And I'm just kind of learning as you go, because they did a really cool thing. They kind of cut a game like a broadcast. So I was learning how to listen to the director and follow the directions of the director and where to go and what to shoot and that sort of thing. And one of the interesting things they did for the All-Star game is they did this informal home run derby. And it was Mark McGuire was in it. And I don't remember who else. I just remember McGuire. He was, I think, a rookie that year in 92.
Right.
So I gained experience that year. but I was still just working on the in-house video board, but gaining lots of experience. Then the next year, a full-time position opened up. He offered it to me and I took it, and it was running the high home camera, which is, balls hit, follow it kind of thing. And so
Right.
I learned it, and I had the aptitude to do it. So then you take that, and I did all 81 games that year, which was kind of crazy that I was at every Padre game, but I worked every game.
Yeah.
And then you start contacting the production companies that produce the games, because I'm gaining experience. And one of them gave me a shot, and I worked a game and I did a good job, and that's the way it works. It's kind of, it rolls on from there. So by 1995, I'm working broadcast. I'm working for the visiting teams when they came in, the Cardinals, the Mets, the Phillies, and all of a sudden I'm working on these shows, and I knew what I was doing. And then I got on an ESPN show, and I did a good job. So they hired me again. And then by 1996, I'm working for ESPN. I'm working for the visiting show for the Padres. I'm doing some of the home Padres show. And it happened so fast, but everything, there's some kind of destiny to life that I've had, where things just kind of happen like in the right order, sort of,
Well, it doesn't come without talent. You obviously,
I had the talent, but I didn't really know it.
Well, if you're sitting behind home plate, with a home video recorder, recording this game, and then going home and editing it, I'd say you probably have the smarts to do this. I wouldn't doubt that.
But I've been doing it ever since, and it's been a wonderful career. When I tell people what I do, nobody has ever said, "Wow, that job sucks." It's always, "Oh, wow, that's a cool job." But the thing they always say is, "Oh, you get to go to all those games and watch all those games." I said, "I'm not really watching them, because I'm looking through this viewfinder and I'm shooting it so that you can watch it at home."
And you got a couple people in your ear.
Yeah.
So you can't really,
There's three voices in my ear. Three voices. Number one.
That's right. You told me about this. This is great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Number one is the director. The director is the ultimate person who tells you what to shoot. He's the ultimate. If he says shoot this, you shoot that. Whatever he tells you to shoot. If he says first baseman, the guy who just scored. Sometimes when we do a job, we have a camera meeting ahead of time, and they give us certain duties that we have to do. But number one, the director is the ultimate. And then number two is the announcers. We follow the announcers. And if your camera has that freedom to follow the announcers, then that's what you're supposed to do. If they're talking about, Fernando Tatis, I shoot Fernando Tatis Jr. If they're talking about Manny Machado, I'll shoot Manny Machado. If they're talking about somebody on the visiting team, I know the teams really well, I'll shoot the teams. And then there's the third voice, and the third voice is my voice. And that, what I mean by that is anticipating where the announcers might go next, or leading the announcers to where, the pitcher's having a problem. Boom, I shoot the pitching coach, that sort of thing, where you just kind of anticipate. And I played the game for a long time, so it kind of gives me, it's like my camera position is out in left field. So if you've seen any of the left field replays, most of them are mine. And that's another thing. And but it's like I'm playing left field, and I have to react to the ball, where the ball's hit, and follow the ball in, and every once in a while, and you watch baseball, something happens, you go, "Oh, I never seen that before."
Right.
And those are the surprises that happen, is that sort of thing. But I've been doing it since 1994. I did a couple of games, and then they had the baseball strike. And then the weird thing was, I got a job with the Anaheim Ducks that fall, and then they went on strike. And I'm thinking, well, maybe this isn't such a good idea. all the sports leagues are going on strike, whichever one I kind of hook up with. But I was by then I was doing that was
I'm getting carried away with these sounds. This is
yeah.
this is sorry.
So but I've been doing it for so long now, and but I still go out there and I still send emails to people letting them know that I'm available for something, because just I try and fill up the schedule as much as I can, and I'm looking forward to the baseball season starting, because then the work is plentiful.
Sure. So, and you seem to enjoy it.
That's kind of how I got started. Oh, am I really working? Are they really paying me to do this? Oh my gosh! And they're paying me that much to do this? It's amazing. And like I said, that whenever I tell people what I do, nobody's ever said your job sucks, because it doesn't.
Right.
It's amazing how much, because what's the old saying? If you're not working, what is it?
You never work a day in your life if you enjoy what you do. Something to that effect.
Yeah. Something to that effect. Yeah. And that's the way I feel is, there'll be some rough days where maybe the director didn't know what he was doing or whatever, but look what I'm doing. It's still fun. So now you see the face behind the camera who's shooting that thing. And the weird thing is when I see highlights that I shot, it's like an out of body experience. It's like I didn't shoot it, but I know that I shot it. Like they played a promo for the upcoming Padres season. I had 4 shots in it, but nobody knows that. Nobody knows I shot that.
And you're like, oh, I did good. Yeah. Well, before we shift gears here into the slideshow pictures in which you provided me, we're going to do a quick commercial break right here. As you can see up in the top corner now, it says Hilltop Deli. Look at this. I'm working on my ad pitches here. So let's see if I can do it. Is it up here? I don't know. I'm not.
It's up there.
It's up there. Okay.
Yeah, it's up in that corner.
Obviously, this show is sponsored by Hilltop Deli. That is my deli. That is the deli in which my wife is there all the time and making gorgeous sandwiches and fruit trays and charcuterie and catering for office buildings. Please, if you guys have an office, look us up. We do catering. This is an average sandwich that goes out the door. We're really proud of what we have, and the prices are very fair, and the offerings are huge. So please come on by Hilltop Deli, Monday through Friday, 7 to 3, 1870 Cordell Court in El Cajon, and it's hilltopdeli.net. Monday through Friday, 7 to 3. All right. Well, now that I have done that, I'll leave that up there for a minute. So thanks, Mark.
Leave it up there. You're the producer.
Well, this is about you, however. And now back to you. So you provided me some pictures, and we're just going to kind of go down memory lane here. And if you can just give me a quick synopsis on some of these pictures here and tell me what it is, what it means to you. And it's not in any particular order because I didn't know. So here we go.
Okay. Oh, that's radio. Look I had hair back then. Oh, that's so nice.
Wow. Is that real?
That's 1975. Yeah. So my whole career started off in radio. That was what I wanted to do. And I wasn't really dialed into radio until it was 7th grade. And Mr. Brewer and his graphic arts class played the radio that summer. So all these songs from 1971 always bring back that memory. But that was my first kind of interest in radio. I had done some public speaking. I was the student council president in 6th grade, so I'd have to go up there and talk in front of everybody. And so, but I never really interested in radio. And then that changed in about 1974. I started to listen a little more closely, and it started to really interest me. And I ended up getting a job, an unpaid job at KCBQ Radio in San Diego. And I still remember driving out there. It was so long ago that Mission Gorge Road was only 2 lanes, and they were expanding it to 4. And I got there, and I had a paying job at McDonald's, but this was going to be a free job. And when I started working there, my dad said, "When are they going to start paying you?" I said, "Well, I'm getting a lot of experience, Dad. I'm answering phones." So I had to keep my job at McDonald's at the same time. But that's it. That board is classic.
Yeah, look at your cans.
Our buddy, those are Shotgun Tom's heads. That's Shotgun Tom's headphones.
Does he still have those?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. They look familiar, and now that you say that, I'm not doubting that they're. I'm not doubting that they're in his house.
But I was so lucky to be in that environment. It was #1 station at the time, and it was awesome to be there. So that's to me my friend Todd Williams. So when I started working at the audio and video production company, we would have clients would bring these stars in to shoot commercials. So Gordon Jump of WKRP in Cincinnati came in to shoot a commercial for a radio station. I think it was in Salt Lake City as the big guy. I don't think he said he was Mr. Carlson. "Hey, the big guy here. Why don't you listen to KALL?" And yeah, so I got my picture taken with Gordon Jump, the big guy.
That's funny.
That was after he did it. Oh, and then me and Jerry got to work together on the Dedicated Season album. And then I got to know him later on working with the Padres television. The amazing thing was in 2009, I'm in Milwaukee working for ESPN, and Jerry at that time, they had started to kind of pull his schedule back. He was only doing the middle 3 innings, so he needed some place to sit. And I built a booth for ESPN next to the Padre booth. He says, hey, Mark, can I come in here and sit? For the extra innings. I said, yeah, you can. He told me all these stories about the Yankees. My jaw dropped. It was, I can't remember one of them. I can't remember one of them because he's telling me stories about Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio. And it's just, I can't believe I'm hearing these stories. It was great. Wow. So Jerry was an amazing guy. And we shared the same middle name of Francis. So that's good. And his birthday was the same day as my sister's. So that's not the same year, obviously, but the same day.
Well,
so there was some kind of kinship with us because of that.
We're going to segue from one Jerry right into another Jerry. Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, he came in to do some kind of a voiceover session. And what you see behind us there is his big mobile home that he had. I think it was just a voiceover. I don't remember if it was a voiceover session but somebody with like Jerry Lewis, you want your picture taken with him. So I got to work with him. It was pretty cool. We had some celebs come in. There's Bruce Hurst. He was with the Padres. They came in, that was 1987, I believe, or 88. And they came in to do some other song. I think it was another Steve Voss song. And he came in along with Bip Roberts and Steve Garvey. And it was kind of interesting, to say the least.
You mean Steve Garvey? Is that what you said?
That's the one.
Wow.
Look, I wore smoothly. My Padres. I wore my Padres shirt that day. That's very clever of me.
My generation knows this as the Naked Gun generation here.
The Naked Gun. That was right after the Naked Gun.
Yeah,
and,
I know he's had a.
I was a huge fan of the Naked Gun. I went and watched it, I think, 3 times. And one guy who I went with, I was laughing so hard. He says, "You're embarrassing me. I'm never coming to a movie with you again."
Well, it's pretty incredible.
George Kennedy was kind of cool.
George Kennedy and Leslie Nielsen came from, non-comedic backgrounds for the most part.
Yes.
And then, they show up in the Naked Gun and just absolutely slaughter it. It was really incredible.
That's what made it even funnier. Now, Charlie Jones, I became that Charlie Jones from NBC Sports, became great friends with him. We worked on a lot. He had all these little pet projects that he wanted to work on. The Places You'll Go. Remember the Dr. Seuss book? He wanted to record that, and I produced all these audio tapes for him. And there's one called Talking Baseball, and he had all these little projects. We built up an amazing relationship, and he was a little bit instrumental in me advancing my camera career also, because when the Rockies started, he was their play-by-play announcer. And he had connections with the production company that was producing the Rockies telecasts. So he was kind of instrumental in kind of pushing my name forward. So we became great friends, great guy.
What a terrific voice that man had.
Oh, amazing. So as time went on, I got to start working. This is with the various teams announcers. I was usually working on the visiting show. So this was the Philadelphia Phillies announcing team in 1997. And it's Chris Wheeler on the left, and then me, and then Harry Callis, who was also a voice of NFL Films, voice of God. And then Richie Ashburn, former Phillies player, is the one on the far right. Just great guys, and I just worked up a great relationship with them, and they were all so nice. And just to, I was a fan of listening to games on the radio also. With Vince Scully is who I grew up with, listening to, and just listening to these classic announcers, and they were such great guys. It was another enjoyable part of the job, that just those three guys working with them. I
want to take this down for a second, but can I tell you, I love Petco Park, I truly do, but can I tell you how much I miss the stadium? I mean,
yeah, there it is.
It's just the circular runways I used to run up and around, and then the little windows in the outfield where the palm trees are, and there's so many memories there, man.
Oh yeah, that's why I have two seats. I bought 2 seats from
do
Qualcomm
you?
Stadium. Yes, I wasn't.
I'll give you $20 for it right now.
You're coming up a little bit short, my friend.
As usual.
You may have to clear this with Amy. You just might have to clear this purchase with Amy. But anyway, they were like they weren't cheap. They were like $350 a piece, or maybe they're only $200, whatever. But I wasn't going to buy them. And my wife said, "No, you went to so many games there. You worked so many games there. You know, how could you not buy 2 seats from there?" "No, go ahead."
Sure.
"Oh, okay." So yeah, I have 2 seats from Qualcomm Stadium that are in the other room. So yeah.
This next picture, a lot of familiar faces here.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, Monica Zek.
Sunny 103.7. Monica Zek's in there, and Jim Doyle was a great friend of mine. Jesse Bullitt was the program director. He's up in the upper right there. With the glasses. Jesse Bullitt was a legendary boss jock at KGB also back then. But a lot of good friends there, and one of my best friends was Jim Doyle, who's right over my shoulder there. And I remained friends with him for years afterwards. He ended up moving back to St. Louis, and he passed away a couple of years ago, and that was kind of sad. But a lot of good friends, and that's the way radio was back then. You know,
right?
You had a team like that who just enjoyed each other, and the state of radio now is it's like this national thing. There's no local radio left. It's just, you know, we were just so engaged with the community. And, you know, we just look at everybody smiling there. You know, we were all just happy to be there. And we went on a little hornblower cruise, and it was awesome.
Those are always fun.
It was awesome.
Those hornblower cruises are always fun. Now, you sent me those pictures, and I was going through them, and this one kind of stung a little bit.
I'm sorry. The last night game at San Diego Jack Murphy Qualcomm Stadium, and I
SDCCU. Don't forget the SDCCU.
Yeah, it was SDCCU. Yeah, at the end there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Say goodbye to the Q. It hurt. It hurt.
I wonder where that banner is now.
I don't have it. I didn't
No.
grab that. I got 2 seats, but I didn't get that banner. Nor did I get a piece of the wall there, but
2 seats in the reel to reel we mentioned earlier.
yeah,
Now,
I got the reel to reel still.
now, typically the weather is always great in San Diego when you're working, but tell me about
Yeah.
this.
It's not always great in Laramie, Wyoming.
Yeah, that's definitely not San Diego.
7,400 feet. And we came in to set up for the football game, and that was what awaited us. It was, I believe it was Colorado State against Wyoming. The game was the next day, and believe it or not, the field was completely cleared by the next day. But when we came in to set up our equipment, that is what it looked like. And obviously San Diego, I'm not used to that kind of environment. So it was kind of.
No, nor am I. Look at this legend. And Tony Gwynn is in there too.
Yeah. So this picture, me and Tony, I wanted him to sign it, and he signed it. Mark, we look good. Best wishes, Tony Gwynn. And I gave him a copy. I gave him a copy of the picture. And he says, I'm going to put that up in my office. And I said, really? Yeah, I'm going to put it up in my office. Okay. So years went by, and long after he had passed, MLB Network put together a film called Mr. Padre about Tony Gwynn. And they held a premiere of that film at what they call it, the Slam something over at San Diego State, where the basketball team practices. They held a premiere of it there, and I was invited as a season ticket holder to go. Well, I'd never met his wife, Alicia Gwynn, before. But I got to know Tony's agent, John Boggs. And I kind of waited around after the show, and I walked up to Alicia. I said, hi, John. How you doing? Hey, Mark. How are you? Hi, Alicia. I'm Mark Gleason. She says, I know who you are. Oh. I said, what? You're in the picture.
I said, that's fantastic.
Whoa. He really did have the picture in his office. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. So yeah, that's one of my favorite pictures, especially when he wrote, "We look good."
that is fantastic.
But just getting to work with Tony, it was amazing. He started out working with ESPN, and then he came over to Channel 4, and he also worked at TBS. And just getting to work with Tony Gwynn and sit there and talk baseball with Tony Gwynn. And it was amazing because I love baseball inside and out. I've played it for a long time, and I feel like I know the game pretty well. And just to kind of bounce things off of him was amazing. And then when he got inducted in the Hall of Fame, it was the realization, wait a minute, I know a Hall of Famer. Oh my gosh. And then Alan Trammell got in later on, but still, it's like, I know somebody in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Like, he knows me, I know him. And let me see if I can do a quick story here about Tony Gwynn. So my son went to some hitting classes that Tony was teaching, my son Matt. And Matt and I got some credentials from ESPN when Tony was inducted with Cal Ripken in 2007. So we went to the induction ceremony, and we go up to the stage after the ceremony. And Tony and Cal up there, they're going to get interviewed by Gary Thorne of ESPN. And some guy asks something of Tony. Hey, Tony, can you sign this? He says, yeah, I'll do it in just a minute. And I'm standing there with my son. He goes, Matt, how's it going? Isn't this a wonderful day? Thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And anytime I tell the story, I get goosebumps, because here's Tony Gwynn on literally the biggest day in his life. And ironically, when he got the call for the Hall of Fame, he didn't know if he'd get the call or not. Really?
Yeah, I know. Really?
But just for him to sing.
That's how he was, though. He's very humble. Yeah.
Oh, and you know how missed he is by everybody. It's just, his son's amazing too. And his son it's frightening. His son has the same personality, almost the same voice, and
same
laugh. It's kind of scary, when you go and So there's Don Orsillo when he was with the Red Sox, along with Jerry Remy. They came into town.
A little foreshadowing here.
Yeah, he didn't know it at the time. And, let's be honest. Don got the short end of the deal there in Boston. That was his dream
Right.
job. His dream job was to be the play-by-play announcer for the Red Sox. And he did it for like 15 years. And then he just kind of got dropped. And when I heard he was coming to San Diego, I couldn't believe it, because I would watch the telecasts for the Red Sox and just say, this guy's really good. And these two guys are really fun together. And, and when he got dropped, it was kind of like, what are you guys doing? And then it was announced that he was coming here, and it was, Don Orsillo's coming here. Oh my gosh.
Like, wow.
And then you see the personality with him and Mud. Those two guys make the job very enjoyable as well when I'm working the Padre games, just to listen to their chicanery.
Excellent chemistry there. Yeah.
Makes it so.
You said you were a pitcher.
I was a pitcher. So my first team was the Red Sox, because my dad was from Boston. So I have the first baseball hat I had on my head was a Red Sox hat. And then this was their second World Series. Was the first one 2011? And then 2014? This wasn't the one that broke the curse, but this was the second one. So I was working for ESPN, and I was doing a wireless camera, and I was out there after the game. And I thought, I need to take a picture of myself on the mound. That would be really a cool thing. So there it is with World Series champions in the background and me on the mound getting ready to deliver a pitch. So that was kind of, yes.
Look at that face. Look at that.
The form is there.
Yeah. Little Lee Smith kind of facial going on there. Again, the pictures that you sent me really, I loved them, especially, the fair. Who doesn't love the fair? And just seeing all those colors and the Australian battered potatoes, how much fun was it to broadcast from the fair? Because this is obviously Paula Res.
This Paula Res Radio, 91.3, very low power station, 100 watts up in North County on the Pala Indian Reservation, but available online. That's where the
Hi, John Fox. Hi, Chris Carmichael.
Hi, guys. And I did some shows solo there. I would go out there and do the shows, and I would be able to take control of the station, so to speak, and play my show. I have a 70s show on there called Mark's Groovy Trip that I do once a week. It's 3 hours on Tuesday afternoon from 1 until 4. But also, I have a streaming version of that. It's Mark's Groovy Trip. And if you would like to listen to it, it's all 70s, and it's like a real radio station. I'm talking over the records. There's jingles. I've made it sound like a 70s radio station. And you can, if you want to listen to it, please do. It's www.marksgroovytrip.com. There's some listen links on there. You can listen online, or there are also apps available on either Google Play or the Apple App Store. And I never sleep. I'm always on the air. So it's 24 hours a day, and it just sounds like a regular radio station. And I've gotten some compliments on that part of it. In fact, one guy the other day who hadn't listened to it before said, "How do you do that? Is that AI, or what is that?" And I said, no, I just recorded a lot of stuff and put it together with the music.
It's crawling across the bottom of the screen right now. If anybody hasn't seen that, it's there's the info right there. And every now and then you get some fans coming up to you during the show, huh?
Yeah, there's the old shotgun, and there's my son Matt. And I don't know if you know Gilbert Smith, but he's in the background there also. But the shotgun came by, and Shotgun and I actually did shows together back-to-back years in 2023 and 2024. We did shows together out there. And the thing is, with Shotgun, we hung out after the show. After we got done with the show, we did the show from 1 until 5. So we went over. They had a little display of shotgun there with "You Better Believe It, Baby," and a cutout of him there because they knew he was going to be there. And we couldn't go 10 feet with somebody saying "Shotgun Tom Kelly." Oh my God! And it was kind of like, come on, let's go. I would just kind of stand aside and they go, "Hey, shotgun!" Literally 10 feet before somebody would say that to him.
Well,
So
he's had a remarkable career. He's absolutely earned every moment of that, as you know.
Yes.
So, and then we have one here from the. This is from the On the Air. Is that right? The Sully and Little
On the
Tommy?
Air show, the Sully and Little Tommy show. That was right before Christmas with Ted Leitner and Shotgun. And now Ted, I worked with him forever. And so I knew him from baseball, 20 years ago. So we had worked together on a lot of Padre games together. So that was a lot of fun to see both of them on the show, and both of those guys can talk. So they filled up the time. It was great. It was a lot of fun to see that show.
Wait a second. Shotgun and Ted Leitner like to talk? Hold on a second. Are you sure you got your facts straight there? That's funny.
I know you've had them both on this show, so I'm honored to to be here
great
as
guys.
well.
Great guys.
Yes.
Well, unless there's anything else you have to share here, Mark. I mean, I believe that we've run the gamut on this, and I love this. This was a great surprise, by the way. Thank you.
I have just two quick stories. So one story was I worked in 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, and I was doing water polo, and I nearly caused an international incident at the final game because the coach got thrown out.
Because 1996 Atlanta didn't have enough. Because they didn't have enough drama already at the Atlanta Olympics.
I have an alibi.
Richard Jewell. Yes.
So, the coach for Croatia got thrown out of the previous game, which meant he couldn't coach the final game. So I saw a guy sitting on the bench with a hood. He had his robe on with a hood pulled over, and I zoomed in and I said, "Check this out." He had a flip phone. He was talking on the phone. Guess who he was talking to? The coach up in the stands. Because then I went and check this out, and I showed the coach up in the stands. I knew where he was sitting, and he's got a phone up there.
Oh,
so
no.
I actually found it online. The whole the game, the match. I found it online the other day to see, okay, am I just imagining what happened there? No, I had a really tight shot of this guy with the phone on his ear. And all of a sudden the other team's pointing up at the video board. Hey, he's got a phone. Hey. So something happened.
Wow.
I didn't see exactly on the telecast, but I did see my shot for about 5 seconds of this guy on the phone, and then going down and starting, talking to the players. He was getting something from the coaches. So, so that was one thing. And I can't remember the other thing I was going to say, but okay.
That's all right. That's all right. We're having a good time here. This is a fun conversation here. Well, cool, man. You got anything coming up that you'd like to promote, or just going to keep working on your radio show?
Baseball's coming up, and it's going to be a busy season. I'm kind of dialed into all the entities. There's an interesting series coming up in May, where the first game of the series is against St. Louis on May 7th. There I am at the water polo outdoors. In Atlanta. That was
that's not cell phone gate.
No. We have an interesting series coming up. There's the baseball's on all these different entities. So the Thursday game is on ESPN, the Friday game is on Apple TV, the Saturday game is on Fox, and the Sunday game is on regular Padres TV. So that's coming up. And if you love 70s music, please check out Mark's Groovy Trip, www.marksgroovytrip.com. We can always use more listeners, and one of these years I'll get some advertisers. So, because right now it's just a labor of love, and
sure.
It's not extremely cheap to do. So, but I love to do it. I'm not shutting the thing down. So, but It's if you liked what radio used to sound like, you're gonna like my station. It's not just a jukebox. It's me talking. So yeah, if you could
Cool, man.
check that out, that'd be great.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on here. I know we've talked about it for a little while now, and it was just a matter of fitting you in and getting you on here. And I really, really appreciate you coming on, Mark. You're a good dude.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Always fun to be with you, Joe.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I will bid you adieu, and then I will say goodbye, and then I will be out of here.
Okay,
All
I'm
right.
hungry.
All right,
Maybe I
Mark. I'll
should go.
talk to you
I
soon.
think. Okay. See you, Joe. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Bye now. He's a good guy, Mark Gleason. So, anyways, producer Joe show because everyone has a story to tell. It could be anybody. It could be a celebrity. It could be somebody just down the street who has something interesting to tell. Maybe they're a cancer survivor and they would like to tell their story. Anyways, that's what I do here. That's why I am here. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It helps me, helps the channel, and we will see you on the next show. Who's it going to be? Not really sure yet. Guess we're going to have to tune in. All right. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good time. All right. Bye.